The night everything unraveled. When Daniel and Elise moved to a new city, it was supposed to be a fresh chapter. His company had offered him a great promotion, and the two of them had agreed it was a move worth making. Elise had to resign from her previous job, but with her sharp mind and strong resume, she quickly landed a position at a reputable firm nearby. Elise was driven, almost relentlessly so. She didn't just want a job, she wanted to climb, to conquer, to be recognized. From the moment she joined her new company, she immersed herself. She listened to her coworkers' success stories. Stories of those who stayed late, volunteered for extra work, sacrificed weekends for spreadsheets and meetings, all in the name of advancement. She took their ambition as a challenge, a roadmap. First, Daniel admired it. He'd always respected her work ethic. When she told him she'd start staying later to help her stand out at work, he was supportive. "Just don't burn yourself out," he'd say, half joking. They still made time for each other. Date nights, lazy Sunday mornings, the occasional spontaneous dinner. They had plans: buy a house, start a family. The extra income would help. But over time, Elise's schedule got irregular. Late nights turned into later ones. Texts came later. Sometimes she'd promised to be home by 8, but wouldn't walk through the door until 10 or later. One night, around 9:15, Daniel stood by the kitchen window with a cup of tea, waiting for her. She had called earlier saying she was wrapping up and would be home soon, but then the call dropped. That's when he saw it. A sleek white car pulled up to the curb near their building. Elise stepped out of the front passenger seat, laughing at something the driver said, and leaned in slightly before closing the door. Daniel squinted but couldn't see the driver's face. The car pulled away. Something about it didn't sit right with him. She never sat in the front seat of a rideshare. She was always cautious like that. And she certainly never lingered with a smile, like she'd just had coffee with an old friend. Concern turned to unease. Unease twisted into something darker. Daniel grabbed his keys and dashed downstairs wearing nothing but house slippers. But by the time he made it out, the car was gone. "Who was that?" he asked, a little breathless from the stairs. Elise blinked. "What?" "That car. Who dropped you off?" "Oh, it was a rideshare," she said quickly, brushing past him. "Come on, it's late." But Daniel noticed her avoid eye contact. And her voice calm, too calm. From that moment on, he started watching. Quietly, carefully. But strangely enough, nothing else suspicious happened. No late-night drop-offs, no unexplained absences. Some days, she even came home earlier than usual. Daniel tried to believe it was all in his head. That night faded like a strange dream. Things returned to normal. Or so it seemed. But something between them had changed. Elise became more distant, present but not connected. She buried herself in work. Smiles came less often, conversations grew shorter, and intimacy became rare. Then everything changed again. One Friday afternoon, Daniel was wrapping up work when a woman approached his desk. She looked nervous and exhausted. Her eyes were swollen like she'd been crying, and her hand rested on her noticeably pregnant belly. "Hi, are you Daniel?" she asked. "Yes. Can I help you? My name is Claire. I think we need to talk. It's about your wife." His blood ran cold. "Is she okay?" "She's fine," Claire assured him. "But please, can we sit somewhere private?" They found a quiet corner in the lobby cafe. Claire took a breath, then began. "My husband's name is Victor. Victor Langston. He's the director of operations at Leland Consulting, where your wife works." Daniel nodded slowly. Claire looked down at her tea, then continued. "I've suspected him of cheating for months. He's done this before. Gets too close to new female hires, especially ones that stand out. I never had proof. Until now." Daniel clenched his jaw. "What does this have to do with Elise?" Claire met his gaze, eyes brimming with tears. "I hired a private investigator. 3 days ago I got these." She pulled out a manila folder and slid it across the table. Daniel opened it. His stomach twisted. Photos. Dozens of them. Elise and Victor walking out of a restaurant late at night. Elise getting into his car. Elise and Victor kissing in the front seat under the glow of a parking garage light. Daniel stared at the image, heart sinking. It was the same car from that night. Everything finally made sense. Claire wiped her eyes. "I'm sorry. I didn't want to hurt you, but I thought you had a right to know. He's been doing this for years. Elise isn't the first, but I couldn't stay silent anymore." Daniel's hands trembled slightly as he closed the folder. "You're not staying with him, are you?" She shook her head. "I'm leaving. My father's already helping me file the paperwork." That got Daniel's attention. "Your father?" Claire gave a tired smile. "Ethan Blackwell. He owns half the buildings in this district. Victor doesn't know yet, but soon he will." Daniel leaned forward. "What if I could make sure they both feel what we're feeling right now?" Claire narrowed her eyes. "What do you have in mind?" The two of them formed a quiet, brutal alliance. The next morning, Elise walked into work, not knowing her world was about to implode. Flyers were everywhere. In the elevator, on the coffee counter, even taped to the back of bathroom stall doors. Every image told the story. Her and Victor, wrapped up in stolen kisses and lingering embraces. Her colleagues stared in stunned silence. Some whispered. Others avoided her gaze. Victor looked ghostly pale in his office, hands shaking as he yanked the flyers down. The company wasn't his. It belonged to a board of powerful investors. Elise's scandal wasn't just personal. It was a liability. By lunch, HR had suspended both of them pending a full review. And Daniel, he didn't say a word. That afternoon, when Elise called, he picked up the phone with a flat, emotionless voice. "Your things are with the neighbor. I've filed for divorce." Blick. The silence that followed was louder than any screaming match could have been. Elise had nowhere to go. She checked into a rundown motel outside the city limits. A week later, she packed her things and returned to her hometown, hoping the rumors wouldn't follow her. They did. Word of her affair spread like wildfire, thanks in part to Claire's father, who made sure no company in his network would touch her resume. Elise's ambitious climb had collapsed into a pit of disgrace. Her dreams, her reputation, tainted. Her marriage, over. And Daniel. He went on with his life, not unscarred but wiser, stronger. A man who, when betrayed, didn't just walk away. He made sure the truth burned down everything built on lies.